Welcome in to the spring sports season finale of This Week in Indian Hill Braves Athletics here on IndianHillBraves.org and ESP Media powered by Sidearm Sports. My name is Jason Griever. Happy to be joined once again by Indian Hill AD Brian Phelps. Brian, good to talk to you once again. We're going to kind of put a bow here on the podcast for the spring sports season and really the entire season in totality. Obviously, some things still left to be accomplished for your spring sports teams, but we're winding down here on the podcast, and the school year is also nearing an end as well. And I know coming up in the next week or so, we're also going to get a chance at Indian Hill to honor some of our outstanding senior athletes.
Yeah, on Monday, we will have our Senior Athletic Awards night, which is really special. We get to honor some of our top kids, and we have a few different types of awards, like the sportsmanship and the highest, the OHSA Scholar and the Athlete of the Year, and we actually honor a boy and a girl junior kind of athlete of the year as well. So that'll be a fun night. We have some restrictions like we have all year. It'll be in our theater. We can only have 200 people total. So we won't necessarily be able to invite the full gamut of awards we typically give out, but it should be a special night. And these kids have a lot to be excited about and thankful for. They've really accomplished a lot, not only this year as seniors, but throughout their Indian Hill athletic career.
And we'll be looking forward to seeing some of those honorees being mentioned there on not only IndianHillBraves.org, but also on social media coming up as well. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's start talking about some of your spring sports programs and kind of where they've been at this year. And obviously, as I said, still some work to be done for a good number of them. Let's start with your baseball team. A really solid third place finish in the league behind Taylor and Wyoming, in a league where we thought it was going to be kind of a battle to decide who was going to win the league title. And some thought maybe a team with 5 losses would win the league. And your team winds up finishing 10-4 overall in the league. So that's a really good number there. You look at the way things work out now. Now we're heading into the postseason time, and you're going to get Batavia to open things up here as the 4th, with Batavia being the 4 seed. But we can't help and look ahead at the bracket, and there just so happens to be that team at Wyoming waiting kind of in the second round for you and potentially seeing them again right there. What do you make of the season the boys have had there on the diamond as well? And obviously the potential once again to see Wyoming in the playoffs this time, and a chance to knock them out after they took you out to win the league title.
Yeah, I think overall it's been a solid season. I think that it feels like the league championship was right there, at least a share of it at our fingertips. And, third place is okay, but that's not what we wanted. And, we had 2 really good games with Wyoming, and I think both of those games could have gone either way. And, both Taylor and Wyoming, the teams that finished in front of us, are really good teams. So, little bit of a bummer. We're talking about third place, but like the team has been throughout the year, we'll play a really good Batavia team. We've played some really outstanding games. We just played Mason this past weekend, and it was a 6-4 game that we were just a little bit short on. But we've shown we can play really good baseball and play with anyone, like the big win we had over Franklin on senior night, which was a lot of fun. So we can make a little run, but I had mentioned 1 week, it's been a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde, I think, type of team. So we just hopefully we're clicking on all cylinders and ready for a little bit of baseball. And if Wyoming's the next game, if we get past Batavia, it'll just be another game. That's how it goes. Just another game that we will really want to win.
Absolutely. And I always say it's tough to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. And obviously it would be the ultimate kind of revenge after Wyoming got you twice in the regular season to end them and their postseason run. But as you said, got to get past Batavia, but still nonetheless a really solid year all the way around in a very competitive CHL. Let's move over and talk about things on the other side of the diamond with the softball program. And nothing really no way you can sugarcoat it. It was just obviously just a down year for the team, and you get taken out in the sectional by number 1 Ross, and it winds up being a winless season. And obviously the league doesn't help matters when you've got the Taylors and the Wyomings and the Reddings at the top right there, but you also played a very difficult non-conference schedule as well, and that showed up in the results there. I'm wondering, from your perspective here in taking stock of this season, Have you begun talks with the coaching staff and discussed, the offseason plans to get a full offseason program in, and also the ways they're going to evaluate things to turn this thing around?
Yeah, we went into this season knowing that we have some young kids on the team. We had a handful of seniors as well, so it wasn't all young. But we have our youth program is really promising, meaning in the lower grades, middle school, and even younger than that. So we know it's a process. We actually think we got a little bit better this year than we've been. We were in some games and could have gone either way, but this is one of those years that trying to build some building blocks for the future. And of course, you never want to go winless, and but they did take some small victories throughout the year, and I think that the next year will be better than this year, and the year after that, I think we'll feel like we're kind of on the right track.
How did the girls handle all the trials and tribulations of the season, particularly the young ones that you have on this roster, the freshmen and the sophomores having to play at the varsity level and having to take their lumps and go through those growing pains? How was their demeanor throughout the season, which was obviously very tough?
I think it would not be what most people would expect. I saw, the girls had a lot of fun this year, if you can believe that. I think they enjoyed each other. They enjoyed the coaching staff. They enjoyed the opportunity to play. The fact is, some of the kids on the team are brand new softball players. So it's not that they've had this long run of, ups and downs and being really good. And then all of a sudden they get to the high school level and they're not finding some of that success. So, for a lot of the kids, I think they enjoyed playing the game. They enjoyed being able to be on a team. They enjoyed each other. So I think overall, the attitude was a very positive experience for most.
Let's switch gears and let's move on to lacrosse, and let's talk about the girls first here. Easily beating St. Ursula and Walnut Hills to close the regular season. So we're going into the tournament on a high note. You're going to get Summit on the 20th in the regional opener here. So a fine season there, obviously a high seed there for yourselves as well. But I want to talk about one of your players that's had a whale of an impact in year one, and that is freshman Lexi Larson. And just the year she has had, finished the regular season with 48 goals, which is third best in the CHL. Take us through her year, what you've seen from her, talking to the coaches, the impact she's had on this team, and obviously also the excitement going forward, knowing you have her for 3 more years.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things to say about Lexi. One, she, we talked about her a lot in the fall too. She was on a state tennis team, and she's got a little sister that'll be joining her soon. And I mean, the family's just an all-around great family. But Lexi, as a player, we knew coming in our freshman year, she was going to be one of our top players, and she has not disappointed. And she's the type of kid that, thankfully we have a good mix of just quality girls lacrosse players. And she's one of those kind of players you can really build a team around. So we're excited that we get her for the next 3 years, and we're going to have some really good pieces to put around her. And she's a quiet type of leader, but she's one of those players that she just lets her play speak for her. And, we're really excited to have her, and she's going to have a great career at Indian Hill, no doubt about it.
And seeing her play and talking to the coaches, obviously, as she goes transitions next year from her freshman to her sophomore year, how are they looking to her to take on more of that vocal leadership role going forward? I know it's something that kids obviously have to grow into as they age and mature, but is that something, maybe that's the next step in her evolution as a player, to become more that vocal leader and getting her and trying to rally her teammates in that way?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I don't know if that will be her year next year or not. I think for the most part, that's not her personality. I mean, she's such a great kid, but she's kind of a quiet kid. And I think as she builds that confidence and realizes it's her team as much as anyone, else's team, she'll get that confidence to speak up. But thankfully, if she doesn't, we have some of those current sophomores that'll be juniors and juniors that'll be seniors that are really good leaders. So I don't think she's going to have to be in a role where she's doing all the talking. She can just enjoy being able to keep playing and leaving that up to some of the other girls that I think do a great job with that. But everyone from freshman year to senior year, kids change a lot and grow into themselves, and it'll be really fun to see how she grows into her own personality. But it wouldn't shock me if next year she continues just dominating on the field and kind of does it quietly.
She's only on pace for a 200 goal career at Indian Hills. Thinking about that, obviously we still got a long way to go. She's likely going to surpass 50 goals in the regional opener against Summit, but a heck of a way to start her career for sure. Over on the boys' side, they're already getting going as far as the postseason goes. A blow away Wilmington 19-1 in the opener to advance on. They'll see Summit as well. We're looking at this team, and we've talked a lot about Charlie DeGennaro and Will Adair and kind of the two-headed monster they've sort of become for your team. And obviously, you've got some other guys that are playing very, very well alongside of them. It's not just those two doing all the work. But in terms of the grand picture right now, you're the number 2 seed in the region. Obviously, we all know Marymount is sitting up at the top at number 1, and you both had really great years. You played a really great match a few weeks ago. Marymount won that one, I believe, 12-10. It was back and forth. Yeah, I'm wondering, when we're looking at this bracket and trying to project forward in so much as we can, are they looking, the boys, at this bracket as saying there's no reason we can't get to the regional final, and if we get there, we want to see Marymount again?
I think absolutely. It's the classic. We're not looking at any game, and besides the one that's next, which is Summit. But I think we feel pretty confident we can make a run, and we know that Marymount will be there to match up with us if we keep taking care of business. And I think our kids and our community and our coaches are excited about that, just as I'm guessing Marymount is. I think we're 2 of the best teams at the Division II level in the state, and that's kind of the way it should be. And yeah, we had a really good game a couple weeks ago, as you said, 12-10. And, like we said, after that game, and really even before that game, if we have the opportunity to meet up in the regional finals, that's going to be the game that counts. And that's the way that we're looking at it. Take care of business, getting to that game, and giving our best effort. We give our best effort and we come up short, then hats off to them. But we don't want to come out of that game saying, golly, we did not do this, or, these guys weren't healthy. I think we're both going to be at our best, and it would be really fun if that happens.
If this team brings its A game leading up to that match and heading into that match, and who knows, maybe even past it, do they feel like they have the potential to bring home the state title?
If we're healthy, which I think we will be, we've been able to rest some legs and all that kind of stuff. Right now, we're really good, health-wise. Talent-wise, we think we're really good. We have a great coaching staff. I think there's no doubt about it. If we play our best lacrosse, we can be crowned the state championship at the end of the day.
We'll be looking forward to keeping an eye on that as it progresses in the coming weeks here. Let's move on. Let's talk about track and field. Obviously, we're at the CHLs this past week here. Good showing for the boys. Not enough to bring home the league title there, so they weren't able to three-peat there. Taylor took the title back there. But on the girls' side, really, really good. And so good and so it's a four-peat now for the girls. They've won the league title for the 4th year in a row. Obviously, a lot of individual accolades on both sides we had as well. Just a really great CHL championship. Would you agree?
It was. I mean, both our boys and girls came and did well. We've talked about the boys all year. They're really kind of just not as deep as the girl. I mean, they're younger. They're going to be really good moving forward. So we continue to be really excited about our girls, our boys side. But our girls are good, and they're fun to watch. And I know we had some records broken, and they have a chance to head to New Richmond for districts and do really well there and continue to move on. And I would expect that we're making a trip to the state tournament with at least a group of our kids to compete at the highest level. So Sue Savage does a great job with them. She's got them focused. I think they're running their best as you would want towards the end of the season. And we'll kind of just see how it all shakes out.
Switching gears, and lastly here, as far as the spring sports I want to talk about, of course, it's your tennis team. And They're off to a really good run right now in the postseason. The state team tournament, you're in the Final Four for that. And obviously the sectionals as well as a business-like performance for the standard of which your team is set. Just about everybody made it through into the districts, both on the singles and the doubles side here. So you're in good position in the state team tournament. You're in good position in the singles draws in the districts. You're in good position in the doubles draws in the districts. You've openly talked about here on the podcast as the season's gone along here that this team is at any juncture is state championship level. Do you feel like the way they've played through this with the state tournament, the singles and the doubles, that you could easily go through and sweep everything?
I don't want to say easily go through and sweep everything, because it just, there's some luck that's involved. There's some really good teams out there. But to get to the Final Four, we had two really good matches, beating Cincinnati Country Day and Seven Hills, both 4-1. And, it was just, it reminded, I think, all of us just how good these guys really are, because those are both really good programs. And then watching sectionals, was it for the most part a dominant performance? It was. 6 of our 7 kids went on, but it's really hard to win a state championship. And, as we've talked before, of our 8 kids that are on the team, which of course we know 7 play, when in a match, 4 of those kids are freshmen. And, so we will see if they are tournament tested. They're going to be a big part in our success. But it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Really excited for districts, later this week, and then hopefully on a state. And as you mentioned, going up on Sunday, May 30th, to Reynoldsburg for the team state tournament. And this is kind of how we felt like in the girls' season. The girls kind of had a very similar path. So definitely not an easy sweep all, no doubt about it kind of thing, because that's just not how it works at the highest level. But do we have a chance? Absolutely. Are we really good? Absolutely.
Looking forward beyond this year, as you said, you have 4 freshmen at the varsity level, but you also have, or seniors up there, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I'm wondering, with that being said there, your thoughts on the future of the program. How did you see the JV look this year? How do you feel like some of those kids can step in next year and try and kind of maintain status quo and keep going with the long sustained dominant run that Indian Hill boys tennis has had?
Yeah, so our current roster is 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and 4 freshmen. Okay. And Tejas Pasadi, who's a junior, is just absolutely amazing. So knowing that we get 2 quality juniors back from that leadership role to join our current freshmen. And our JV team had a really good year, and we're really competitive, and some of those kids are going to be fighting for some spots. But we have some 8th graders in the pipeline that I think expect to be varsity players next year. So, it's a good problem to have. We're going to have some kids really fighting it out for those, couple of spots, 2 or 3 spots, and even our kids that are returning. You can't go 9 months and not pick up a racket, which our kids don't. But, they're going to have to fight for their current spot. So when you can create that type of competition on your own team within your own school, I think it just makes everyone better. And dare to say it, could we be better next year on the boys' side? I don't think that's so far-fetched. So you talk about the program moving forward. I think we're only getting better. And I think the next handful of years, at least, in Indian Hill boys tennis, we should be the favorite in a lot of matches and a lot of tournaments, and should be really exciting for our coaches and our kids.
The beat goes on for the tennis teams for sure. As we're winding down here on this podcast, it also is bringing to a close the entire season and school year in totality here coming up here. So just to recap here for Braves fans out there, as far as this year in the CHL goes, Indian Hill wins or shares league titles in football, boys golf, boys and girls tennis, boys and girls basketball, wrestling, boys swimming, and girls track. And your lacrosse teams finishes top 3 seeds in the regional tournament. That's not a bad year 1 for you at Indian Hill, is it not?
No, it's been really great with with all the obstacles we've had, like everyone else, it's not just an Indian Hill thing with with COVID and just scheduling and not knowing if we're going to have a seasons being halted, picking back up. I so appreciate being here. I appreciate the hard work and the trust that our kids and our parents and our community have had so far in Indian Hill schools and the Indian Hill Athletic Department. And what I'm excited about is I really think we're only going to continue to get better. And it's a great place to be. This is a great community. We've got kids that are passionate. We have coaches that are passionate. We have administrators that are so passionate. It's an awesome opportunity to be part of the Indian Hill School District, and I feel really privileged to be so. But it's all in all, it's been a great year for Indian Hill athletics, no doubt about it.
How do you top yourself in year 2 in the fall?
Well, I think I don't measure our success by league championships. That's kind of the or state championships. That's the fun part about it. But we're looking at how do we help with character education for our kids? How do we help our kids learn to be leaders? How do we continue to make sure that our participation is at a high rate? How do we make sure that we have the best coaches on staff to lead our kids? So, in year 2, that's really my focus. And I think that, we just passed our levy, which was so monumental for our school district. And that gives us the opportunity. I can start planning with the rest of our admin team and coaches, what facilities do we need to make, to make this the best sports experience and academic experience, the best in the city. So those are kind of the things in year 2 that I'm really excited about jumping into, to help improve our program. And then the wins will continue to come. That's the byproduct of doing everything else right, I think. So I'm really excited about all the things that kind of couldn't quite happen in year 1. And now I can really get my teeth on and really hope, to do some awesome things in year 2.
We'll be looking forward to keeping track of all of that as time goes on. But right now, our time in this season has come to an end. Our thanks one final time to Indian Hill Athletic Director Brian Phelps for joining us here on the spring sports season finale of This Week in Indian Hill Braves Athletics here on IndianHillBraves.org and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.